Welcome to the Out There channel, live stream 194. I'll just cue the intro and the music and I'll be with you in a minute. Alien Prey. Down to Area 51. To the underground base. Under the underground city. Hello. Hello. Good to be back for another live stream. I'll just queue up the desktop. Pause that. Yep. I got a bit to go over today. Hopefully it's sounding alright and graphics is coming through okay. Looks like we got Renee joining us already. Hang on, I'll be with you in a minute. So, just wondering who's going to join us today. Last Sunday went pretty good, I thought. Didn't actually have any technical problems, which is kind of rare. When Windows 10, you never know when it's going to go wrong. But I've got the updates disabled, and but doesn't mean it doesn't go wrong still. It does some sneaky stuff in the background. Not sure if Robert's around. I think he's gone to bed. And John, I'm not too sure where he's at. Looks like he might be away from his computer. So, how's it going, Renee? Better type my welcome message, I guess. Show on, yes. Couldn't be underneath those caves. Oh, you probably could. Big LV screens everywhere, simulating outside beaches and stuff. Let's see. Got to try and get my head into it. There's a bit to talk about. Getting up to 200. That's amazing, really. I guess I'm sounding alright. Sunday live debunks. Not making any crackle sound, I hope. Live debunks on viral UFO vids and more. There we go. Yes, cruisy, lazy Sunday, hopefully. Unfortunately, I didn't get all the sleep I needed. So that's for some reason this household tries to interrupt my sleep. I reckon lawnmowers should be banned for use before 1 PM in weekends. I'm not sure if you would agree with that or not. Depends if you're a night owl or a morning person, I guess. So yeah, gotta bring that up. So yeah, I've been getting a few people from Secureteam coming over this way lately, and they don't believe that he faked stuff. And here's a famous clip.
Yes, my name is Ken.
That he produced, and he admitted to it. So anyone that's new to joining the channel here, he definitely admitted to that one, and only under pressure, and once he was caught out, and he deleted the video soon after, and he admitted it to a newspaper that making claims that the audio was corrupted from the email he got, and so he created a fake voice for it, which you never do. You always play the original clip with subtitles if it's really bad, and or repeat it again with a voiceover in case you didn't get it the first time. For those that don't like reading subs, of course. So yeah, last time we were talking about some UFO stalker cases, and Robert was asking why that lead balloon, he didn't understand why it was black in the middle. So I'll just go over some technical things to do with optics and atmospherics to explain that, hopefully. And not sure which one it was. Was it this one? No, it wasn't that case. That was the very last one we're looking at, I think. It's probably gone now. I've got a new batch of images. I'm not sure if we get time to look at that or not. But we'll see how we go. Not sure if anyone wants to come on and talk about the UFO experiences. I normally do my little debunks first, and then people can join on and talk about stuff if you want to. So it was a wee bit like this one here, where it sort of had little black bits in it and made a shape of a ring. But I can't, it looks like the one's scrolled off now, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, let's see if I can bring up the editor. So basically, the report was they saw two flashing bright lights in the sky, and they couldn't get a fix on it. And it was in like a cloudy area in UK or Scotland or somewhere like that. And it looked a bit like this here, if I can draw it. Like it had two circles. I'll make it bigger. Like that. But the interesting thing was it made these strange patterns, and it was blinking very fast, which was abnormal. So it sort of had rings inside the image. Probably could bring up plus string and show you the image. And then it had like a black bit in the middle here. That kind of looks like two eyes. But it wasn't quite like that, because this one was actually fading as that one was getting brighter. And it was only in a few frames of the video. It was quite hard to get it. So I'll just do one there. I'll raise the other one. Should have used the paintbrush probably. Oh, flip the side a wee bit. What's the red eye up to? See, my arthritis spread to my arm now. My neck. Oh, you look Stephen Hawkins. You'd have to figure out how to do it with speech and all that, I suppose. So the cloud was coming over top. I don't know if I've got a picture of a cloud here at all. What can we use for a cloud? There's no decent blobby bits, is there? I suppose I have to draw one, but let's go through cloud layer like this. Not that thick though, it's sort of foggy I'd say. But when you're filming it through clouds like this, and you're coming through thick atmosphere, what happens is you get layers of hot and cold. So this could be, let's see, it could be a warm layer here. Black again. That's not black. Warm, and then you might have hot. Is it not clicking down? A hot layer and a cold layer, and before that you might even have a cold layer up here. So when you're filming stars and planets at night time, for some reason it won't go at the top. So when you're filming like a planet, so this is a planet rather than a lead balloon, the light's coming towards your camera, and it's going through all these different layers of atmospherics, and it's bending the light as it's traveling. So it's probably too thick. So as it's coming through the middle here, it's actually being bent as it's going through the different layers. And so instead of it being a straight line to your camera from that center, what it is it's actually forming more of the light into a ring circle on the outside there. So if I draw that circle again, so the light's getting to the edge of that ring here, and eventually it goes through all these different layers, and eventually it's in roughly the same place as the ring. If you can imagine it going through all the different bendy bits in the atmosphere and water crystals. The cold bit normally has water crystals, and then it forms the ring patterns. Now I've got some pictures of this process that people have taken. Let's see, was it on that one? No, there was some pictures somewhere. Is it there? Where did the pictures go? Was it there? You can see, I'm not sure what that one is. When observed with telescopes, why do planets and stars appear to look like living cells under the microscope? So that's basically what I've tried to draw here as a cell. So where's my pictures disappeared to of it though? Maybe it's here somewhere. Let me just quickly look. Must have been on another link. Thought I saved it though. Let's see if we can do a search for it again. Planets, film, camera. So I can show you what I mean. Probably not going to be able to find it now. I think you have to type in artifact or something. Yeah, if you don't type in the right keyword, Google gives you a load of rubbish instead. Planets, camera, artifact, maybe. So, ring. Looks like I can't find it again. I had this trouble last time when I was trying to look for example. I'm sure it was on that page there. Let me just quickly skim it. Do you mean like this? I'm not sure if it was that or not. But you can see it's got dark and it's pretty small. It's meant to be filming a star as it's going through atmosphere. So the more atmosphere it goes through, the more likely it's going to bend the light coming to the camera sensor. And you get all these strange colours, reds, blues, and you also get the black bits occurring, where it's sort of bending away from where the light was coming from. But there is a collection of pictures here somewhere. Oh, it could be here, but there we go. Is it here? Right. Sure, it was on this page. Maybe it's on. Oh, it could be there. Is it? No. It's opened up something else. Probably an ad. Is it? I could have sworn it was on here. More answers. Looking up. Okay, let's see. Camera artifacts, cell. Nope. Telescope, maybe. Nope. Come on, come on, come on, come on, camera. Come on, Google, what's that got to do with living cell? It's terrible, really, isn't it? It's almost like they've changed the search again. Camera artifact, maybe. Artifact, if I spelled it wrong, maybe. But it corrected the spelling. Here we go. So here's some pictures. Here. Outside of focus, in focus. So this is looking at a planet, I think. But here's the ring pattern occurring here when it's outside the focus. So that means that the light's going to be not going, aimed and being focaled into a point. so it's going to spread out more, and you're going to see the ring patterns occurring. And inside focus is where it's bending the light more into to the central bit of the image. So it just shows you why it can look strange on cameras if you haven't got it right. But even then, when you've got it perfectly right, it's still it's not perfect because of atmospherics, as you can see there. Let's see if we can get it bigger. As you can see there, it looks like it's going through like a foggy cloud layer. It's sort of got little bits underneath it. You think I'd better find something better than that though. Oh, here we go. We might have some more here. So it kind of looks like a living cell is what they're talking about. And here's another one. So when an LED balloon was going through the same sky, even though it's small and bright, they still have the same problems with optics on the camera and the CCD or the CMOS sensor, how it processes the light through electronics. So yeah, there you go. So they call it diffraction rings on that one, the technical name. Airy disk, spherical apparition of the LX200, whatever that is. So hopefully that explains it now, Rob, when he watches it back, why it's got black bits in the middle. I don't think any of these guys actually show us a lens, how the light's going towards the camera sensor, because that would help, I think, explain it with a graphic. So once you start understanding the technology you're using, and when you get these UFO channels putting up something like this in the sky, saying it looks like a living being, it's nothing of the sort. It's just something natural. So I can post that one to the side link, and I'll read out some of the other stuff too. So camera artifact, living cell, and what did they call it? I've forgotten what their terminology was here. Ring something, diffraction ring, was it? All these terminologies you have to learn. Obviously it's diffraction of light. I posted that twice, so I'll get rid of that one. There we go. Okay, what else was there? Might be something better. Oh, what's that one there? Oh, they've got different names to it there too. Off center, coma. What's that one there? Optical apparition. So I'm not sure what language that is, but obviously a stargazer, right? Extrafocal, anifocal. So that must be inside focus, outside focus. Yeah, we can move on from there, but I'll just read out the little bits I got here. Let's see. Oh, right. There was a more button. It was here after all. There's a little more button here. Maybe I was looking for it. I'm sure it was on this screen. Here you go. I'm looking at the same images now. So it was all there after all. Isn't it annoying? So yeah. Well, I knew it was on that page. It shrunk it down a little rotter. So let's have a read of what the expert here is saying. Has he got any qualifications? Over 20 years of amateur stargazing. Okay. So these are the people you've got to listen to. It's the ones that put up videos on MUFON where the planes passed over on long exposure and they wonder what it is. You got to be careful of, and then ends up on Secureteam's channel as a deep space satellite, which we've covered before.
I have seen a number of such beasties posted on YouTube, usually by someone who thinks his compact super zoom camera has revealed the secret nature of stars that NASA has kept hidden from us. Anyone who is familiar with astronomical telescopes knows that stars are mere points of light, a single file stream of pixels, if you will. Therefore, any image of a star, save for a few images of not too distant giant stars, for example Betelgeuse, from giant telescopes using adaptive optics, is actually just an artifact of the optics of the light path. Amateur astronomers take advantage of this to test the quality of their optics, a process called star testing. Through perfect optics and still air, a properly focused star looks like this, a tiny, perfect bright circle surrounded by a series of progressively dimmer rings. Only the first is clearly visible here, as is often the case. Out of focus in either direction, the rings become brighter and the central spot, dimmer. In perfect optics, the pattern looks identical in either direction. These patterns of rings are the result of diffraction, and depend on the shape of the aperture and any obstructions within it. Here's a photographic record of a star test 7 images of the same star in varying degrees of focus. The telescope shows overcorrection, and there was a little atmospheric turbulence, hence the slightly ragged look. In very bad seeing, high turbulence, you can see these shapes warping and dancing around like an amoeba on crank. Back to the dancing star at the top. The movement is caused by light from a point source passing through moving variations in air temperature and density. The resultant slight variation in refractive index distorts and displaces the image. The amount of movement indicates very poor seeing, possibly because the star is close to the horizon. The polygonal, pentagonal shape is from the camera's diaphragm. The bright streaks are diffraction artifacts, distorted by both the unsteady air and optical aberrations in the camera lens. The image also appears to be out of focus. Many people, not understanding the point nature of a star image, think the defocused image is correct because it's bigger. The flashing colors are often seen in bright stars low in the sky. Because you are looking through a lot more air close to the horizon, the refraction, including prismatic effects, is much stronger than when observing high in the sky. In short, the apparent form of a star depends entirely on the air and optics that it is being viewed through. Planets will show a clean disk if properly focused, but here again, some optically naive YouTubers marvel over their defocused images and think they have discovered the secret knowledge. 383 views.
Secret knowledge, UFOs. Bubble of objects. This one's another one here. It's quite interesting explanation. Some people explain it simpler than others. So this one's got 30 years, and he's from South America. I'll read out its American voice, I guess.
You are basically seeing the shape of your objective. When a bright and small object such as a star or planet are out of focus, their outline mimic the objective shape. A refractor telescope may see circles or bubbles of objects. A Schmidt-Cass or Maksutov may have donuts for out-of-focus shapes. We can easily be tricked to think an object is in focus if we see a clear, round image. You can avoid this pitfall by putting a mask on the objective that is not obviously round, such as a square, triangle, etc. When the object is out of focus, the mask shape will dominate. But as the image becomes clear, the mask shape will diminish in size and not be noticed once the image is focused. Large mirror telescopes are notorious for being hard to focus, especially if the mirror is still changing shape while cooling or heating up. A mask with 2 or 3 circular holes in can help, since you would see multiple images of your object when not in focus and just one, or close to one, when in focus.
I say, so what they're saying here is, we talked about the iris of the camera, the shutter lens, which is made of various number of blades. Some have 3, some have 4, some have 5, and some have 6, all the way up to 12, I think it is, maybe even 14. So yeah, they form obviously different polygon shapes. So he's saying when it's not in focus, you'll start to see the iris shape, which on a telescope. So when you amplify it with a telescope, like I haven't got one, I'm not a telescope expert, I'm just following what the experts are saying here. So they're talking about a diaphragm, RAM, how do you say that word, optics here. Which I was going to read out. Let's read out that little chunk there.
In optics, a diaphragm is a thin opaque structure with an opening aperture at its center. The role of the diaphragm is to stop the passage of light, except for the light passing through the aperture. Thus it is also called a stop, an aperture stop, if it limits the brightness of light reaching the focal plane, or a field stop or flare stop for other uses of diaphragms in lenses. The diaphragm is placed in the light path of a lens or objective, and the size of the aperture regulates the amount of light that passes through the lens.
Okay, so basically an iris, but you can clip on these other things on front, like a pinhole camera. Here's another one here, showing you how the blades work. And it's closing it off, opening up, and there's a physical lens. Diaphragm has 2 to 20 blades, I reckon, here, with most lenses today featuring between 5 and 10. I think smartphones could be like a square, I think, it might be 4, because a lot of them don't use actual shutters on digital cameras now. They use a electronic one, which is like a square, and they just put current through it and it turns black. Makes the crystals, liquid crystals inside of it, go a different direction, so the light doesn't pass through. But there's a limit to electronic ones opposed to the physical ones. The most high-end cameras can do up to 8,000 images, but the electronic ones I think do about 1,000, 2,000 maximum, maybe 4,000 before it reaches the limit of the speed of the reactive of the crystals. So there's quite a lot of technical stuff to it all. But that explains, like I was talking about the other time, was that because it was out of focus, it was forming a pentagon shape, which was like 5 blades in the digital camera that the woman was using. So you'd have to go back to last Sunday's live to see what we're talking about there. So hopefully that's now fully explained better. You can see here these ones definitely don't have that pentagon shape that she had. Definitely more round when it's out of focus or in focus. So obviously this is using a telescope and probably just some form of a CMOS sensor that's going to an output rather than a camera being attached to it probably. So move on to the UFO stuff, more UFO stuff. Alright, so third phase of the moon, so we need to bring up them. So they got this rock on Mars. So saying it's trash. If they still got it up. There it is, yeah. I'll just cue to the part. Let's see. Yeah, they got some other stuff on here, so probably just have a quick look through it. Fortunately, my eye's itching because it's all the lawnmower and that's been happening. So what are we looking at here? We've got men on a crane working on a roof, and something appears above them here, which I can't see it now.
Alright, you just watched the incredible video, and we've got more videos coming up. But before we get to that, I want to get some contrast, add some sharpness to this video, and make sure that we're looking at this very close. What Jose Angel Castro captured over Panama October 10th, 2019, around 10:31 a.m. We're going to be supplying the original links below. It defies anything that we've seen in a while. A massive saucer-shaped craft that you would see in the classic sci-fi movies, but this isn't science fiction. This is real life. What's going on here? I want to get Brent's thoughts.
Yeah, great capture, Jose. I like the way he actually looks at it, and you can see that he's fascinated. Whatever we're looking at kind of banks off and then disappears. It kind of seems to go away and drift off behind those clouds. But when we're looking at this thing, it kind of reveals a black mass on the top and the bottom of it that gives that saucer-like look. Is it morphine? What is this thing?
I'm just trying to see whether that's a reflection in a window glass. It's a bit hard to tell. There was a swing back just then.
Saucer-like look. Is it morphine?
And there's a lot of white edge in here where the sun could reflect off back at the camera. What else we got? Just turn that off. And what else we got reflected? So the workmen are way over here, and the object's over here. So he's a fair distance away, filming in a car park by the looks of it. I'm not sure if it's a real object or it's just a reflection at this stage.
What is this thing?
Definitely, it seems whatever Angel Castro captured, these construction workers are doing some work on the building. I'm surprised they're not looking at it, but maybe they just don't notice. A lot of people don't look up in the skies, and we're looking at this video closely, and we're not seeing any kind of manipulation. The video is genuine, so whatever is hovering over the skies, it's there. The question is, what is it?
Looks a bit fuzzy to be like a real object, right? It doesn't look like a solid thing. It looks more like a reflection. It's a bit hard to tell. It could be a drone that someone's flying over the workmen to film what they're doing. And then it's flying back down to the other side of the car park, maybe. What do you think on those ones? That one there, guys? Reflection, actual drone. Just see, now it seems like it goes in focus there, maybe. And before it was out of focus. Could that be a flying drone camera? It's got that whiteness to it, hasn't it? It just shows how misleading things can be. You know, it could be simply just a bright reflection on the window where he's filming it through. So why does it suddenly get dim away there? All of a sudden it seems to lose a lot of brightness all of a sudden.
Now, let's get to this. Coming in from Berlin, this was sent to us via my Gmail from Quentin, and he captured this on his way to work. Take a look.
Okay, so we're moving on to another video now. So what have we got here? Again, is it filming through a window? Can you see other reflections? There's something down at the bottom there, the image here. Kind of looks out of focus and blurry, doesn't it? Can't keep it still. Looks like it's gone behind that thing. And a lead balloon, maybe? He can't keep his camera still.
Some people are stating in the comments that this could be some kind of energy, life form, or interdimensional beings, and this is what we're seeing on the video. I'm not exactly sure if that's correct, but I scratched my head. Exactly, what is this?
Why does he move it like that, side by side, when it's getting near the tower, you know?
Is this some kind of a natural phenomenon, or something extraterrestrial in nature?
Could this be the classic ball lightning on what we're looking at here?
No.
I like the way it bleeds light on the top of it.
Not
It seems
ball
to be
lightning.
like emitting this energy that's impressive, because you see it kind of emitting and shooting out rays from the top side of this bright
So why is he not keeping it on the thing, though? Why is he moving it around so much? Kind of suspicious.
orb. It's huge, whatever it is, and it's present.
If anybody was in Berlin about approximately 18 hours ago, if you've got video like this, send it to us. We want to find out the nature of this phenomenon. What is it?
So again, moving all over the place. Certainly doesn't look like much of an air current there, but look, you can see the tree moving a wee bit. Looks like it's going in the direction of the, if you look at the tree.
Alright, the Spirit rover.
So it looks like it's moving with the wind, whatever it is. It's probably one of these big, again, lead balloons that we keep getting from China. The big white ones that are used for weddings and celebrations. And the big white ones are very common, obviously, for weddings. But you can get all sorts of colours. These ones here. Looks a bit like the right shape there. Oh, don't need to click that. Some pictures on being released there. And all different sizes too. Well, those ones are tear-shaped ones, but there are the round ones, of course. These ones here, they look like they're floating, lead balloons. Looks very similar to what we were just looking at, right? You can't even see the cables holding them to the floor there. Looks like it's in the kitchen there, is it? Can't see the cables attached to them. Obviously got helium in them. And them. And we have logos printed on the outside too, obviously. And here's some good ones here. Looks very similar. 22 do-it-yourself lead balloons. You can see how thin the cable is on those ones there. So these ones are actually got the light at the bottom. You can see there, lights up the whole thing further away they go. So it could be that. It's hard to know because we ain't got enough information on this one here. So if someone released that from a birthday wedding, and you can see there was a slight breeze going that direction, you can see the trees moving that way. They would simply rise up slowly and just move with the air currents that day. So on to the next one, the Mars one, which is a bit more interesting. Seeing that on Secureteam, right. Well, that's what we're looking at. Going over. Oh, did he put that one up too? This one? I don't think I've seen that one, but it's possible. So the next one is the Mars thing.
Is that there's some kind of extraterrestrial life
Excuse
the red
me.
planet itself, and we're pulling up
So,
on the image, and what is
this
it?
bright
That
rock
is,
here
the big
is the
question.
problem.
I'm actually going to be doing some brightness, contrast, and a little bit of hue and saturation.
But before you scroll in here, you can see that some of the rocks are the same shape. There's one here. Seems to be like a triangle type shape. And this one here is a brighter chunk of rock. And it almost looks like it's hollow on the end here. But again, it's optical illusions happening. So you can see it's probably going to be a small rock. Look how far it's zooming in. So there's the far away shots. And you can see how the image is made up of what they call stitching. Various chunks of video at different distances. So further away the image will be like that. And as it zooms in, it takes it closer detail at each zoom level. I guess it's from a Spirit rover. I guess they found the image on NASA, is it? I'm not sure if they got the link to it. Let's see. They don't list the actual link, but let's see where it goes to. Forbidden! So that's useless, isn't it? I guess it's from NASA, but if we zoom in, so here.
People are claiming that it could be the smoking gun of evidence of something that proves that there's some kind of extraterrestrial life on the red planet itself, and we're pulling up on the image, and what is it? That is the big question.
Almost looks like the rover come this way and it's dug up the trench there. Let's just go back. Looks like it turned around or come back this way, doesn't it? Looks like it got stuck or something. Looks like there's a trail going that way in a circle, like it's turned around. So it's kicked up the rocks that were underneath, maybe.
Captured photographs, and we're going to share it with you via GigaPen, and we're going to take a closer look at some people are claiming that.
Alright, it's from GigaPen. Where does it say that? Pen.
It could be the smoking gun of evidence of something that proves that there's some kind of extraterrestrial life on the red planet itself, and we're pulling up.
You
on
can see how small the rock is.
That is the big question. I'm actually going to be doing some brightness, contrast, and a little bit of hue and saturation. But
okay, so you can start to see what looks like an error occurring here. See this in the stitching. You see here it doesn't sort of match up. It looks like it's moved down. It doesn't look right, does it? It looks like it's moved that little bit of distance backwards a bit. Don't know. It might be like an image here. It looks like an image there. Looks like an image there too. It looks like an image coming down here, because it doesn't work like a normal smartphone camera. It doesn't take a whole picture in one go. It takes like hundreds and thousands of images and then joins it all together. Or NASA overlays it, right? So it may have taken a picture here, right? This side of the rock, and then it moved the camera around and it took another snap, and NASA simply has overlaid the next image here over top, but then it's being transmitted at the same time to Earth where it can get corrupted. And to me it looks like another one here that's been overlaid on top.
What you're about
to me it looks like it's an alignment problem. But it may be that the rocks are skewed with there. I don't know. What do you think? Does it look like a stitching error right there? It doesn't quite line up down further down here either. It looks like that black one is part of that blob, so it needs to come down. So this image hasn't been done right, has it? Straight away we can see there's problems with it. So that bit there should be joined up with that bit there. So if we readjusted it, it might look different. So let's do that now. So if the image has got corruption in it, how much of the image can you believe is real? Just get rid of that one. Let's see. Are you still with us here, Renee? Looks like you're the only one that's interested. So if we now zoom that one up, and let's just have a play around with it. So it looks like it's not even here, is it? So it looks like it's coming down on an angle here. In the software maybe. So it's not a clear cut. Let's see, how can I do that? Lasso select. Let's see how this one works. Not sure how you do that. How's that function work? That's not too bad. Let's weave it out. No, not doing that right. There's got to be a way to do it. Where's the bit? Where's it go down here? Oh, there. So I need to go down there. Then expand it. Shame I can't grab the corners. No. This lasso is tricky. No. What am I doing wrong? So you gotta go there, spread it out, and expand it. Almost. Trying to learn a new function here. That's pretty close. What happens if we now cut it? Or copy it? Copy and paste on a new layer. Hey look. We can now move it. There you go. You see what I mean now? Looks like it should be there. Down just a wee bit. Now look, it looks more like a proper image now, see? Maybe I should work with NASA, correct all the errors in the images. So there's another thing here too though. If we apply that now, flatten, there's looks like it's coming down here now. So obviously another image underneath. Looks like it may have got something going on there. Has it lost the color information? I think maybe it might be alright. So it might be that one's lined up. And there looks like another one coming down here. But if we get the zoomed in image, which is further on, which I did a grab. There it is here, from the image here. If we have a look at the close-up image of that, you can now start to see there's lines coming down on the original image. See that there, running down? So it looks like it's overlaid one image here with another image here. And I thought maybe there could be another one here, but I think it's just okay. And it kind of looks like it's got a ruby here, and it looks like it's got like a hole in the bottom here, but I think it's just the way it's got a bit sticking out that's in shadow. Certainly does have some strange shaped rocks on Mars though. But you can see, once you see the errors in it, makes you wonder if some of the color information was lost. So what they do is they don't take it also like you do on a smartphone. They take it in 3 things called RGB. So they take it, the camera takes it with a red filter, blue filter, and green filter, and they're meant to be able to adjust all the different levels of the image when it's transmitted back into the normal color range. And obviously it doesn't always go to plan, especially if some information is lost or corrupted, you know. So here I did an image here earlier in the week, thinking that there was like an image here also running down the edge here, but I wasn't 100% sure on that one whether that was all one image there or not. But you can definitely see that's definitely a stitched together image there. Now because it's probably taken a close-up of that image, and the way they've done it in the software, they've taken multiple images, overlaid it at different zoom levels. Same as what Google Earth does, and you know how it has to load in the next layer of photographs at different altitudes. The same's happened here with the rover, so they can zoom in from a fair distance. So if you run that through correction, which is what I did here, it doesn't look so much like it does here, with yellows and greens and more reds on it. If you run it through RGB correction, it starts to look more like a black bit on the rock here rather than a red bit. And the blue still a wee bit there, but it was approximation. But you can see here it's still the same part of the rock here. It's probably just a wee bit whiter than it should be. Should be adjusted down slightly to match this one here. And this red will look more like a black brown colour. And the greens will probably disappear. They're probably meant to be more white. Don't know, it's quite a strange rock, that's for sure, but people were saying it was a milk carton or something, you know. You can see it's not a milk carton or rubbish. And as I said, if you looked on the further away image, let's see, what happened there. I have got some other bits here. Oh, right, I've already got that further on. I can close that one. If you have a look at the further away image here on the video, where's it gone? Again. You can start to see the rocks are very similar. Strange shape. Almost looks like slate, but here you can see I corrected that error in the image just before, which makes it look normal. And then they get a real close-up of it, and then you can see the errors coming in here. So the colour looks right there, right? It looks brown, whites, blacks. Almost has a wee bit of greeny reflection in that one. But this one's like a chalky type of rock, which is reflecting a lot of light. So apparently also not Mick West, Scott Brando asked NASA expert directly about the photograph. But yeah, this one at the rock at the back here is what I'm talking about. That looks like the same, almost the same type of rock, triangle bit, but it's around the other way, and it's got less white in it. So I'll just catch up in the comments in a minute. So what was the next bit here? Some asked, this is from Scott Brando, some asked me what that anomaly on Mars taken by Spirit rover source are. Right, he's got the source here. So let's just click on that, see where it takes us. Same link. They've got rid of it. Wonder why. And the raw image is here, so let's have a look at the raw image. You can see it's made up of little photographs. So can't really zoom in on it like you can with the other program. But you can see here's a lot of white rocks here. So it'd be a good thing to actually zoom in on those if we could, to see what they're like in comparison. But you can see they're quite reflective there. And the pile of rocks he was looking was in that circle above, right? So the rocks, the white rocks are definitely there on the planet. But he focused just on the top right of that there. I can't quite point it on maximum zoom there. But they zoom in that area there, just above this white rocks here, which is quite fascinating. It's good having a look over what they're getting from space. You can see here how the horizon colour is. People are saying it's blue, but it depends what type of day they take the pictures. So yeah. So what they're saying here, that piece of rock seems to be a little different. And I asked Neil Spence about the image. He answered, the piece is reflecting a lot of light, and sadly when stacked into RGB composite of 3 filters, it can have a tendency to take on the colour once processed for the pan. So yeah, it's just a processing artifact, right? There isn't any milk bag on Mars. Milk bag? Does he mean milk carton? Do you have milk bands? A pack of what? I'm not sure what that character there is. What's that? Rene's good on those. Milk carton. Yeah, he said milk carton. But yeah, when you go into the technical thing, you can see it's quite complex. Where he's talking about overlaying the different filters. Color restoration of RGB in multispectral filter array sensor images based on spectral decomposition. This is from what is it? PMC, National Library of Medicine, which is very similar. And you can see here, if you have a look at what NASA would be doing as well, and talking about the image being RGB, so you can see they do complex mathematics on it, and the circuit to it, going through the different filters, visible light, near infrared light, and the circuit diagram or block diagram, processor restoration. So this is for medical scans. You can see there's a lot of complex mathematics involved in it, waveform analysis, so they can get the true image from the sensor array through different filters. So that's how NASA would do it, red, green and blue, and then join it all together. So there's a wee bit of possibility of some error, as you can see. So it's quite complex. But yeah. And you can bet NASA got really something similar to this one. Okay, so what are you saying there, Rene? Greenish blue, bluish green, yellow. Animal crackers. That's that what the box is. But there's a Mandela effect when I was growing up. The box was green. Now you're talking about something different now. So we did this one. What was this one again? Oh, that was a banner plane. Yep. So Scott Brando has also put this one up. MUFON case 103972. According to some English tabloids, this one here you might better remember. I did it last Sunday. And there's a black square up here somewhere. When he zooms in, probably have to zoom in to see it. There it is on the cloud. So they're saying it's like a cigar UFO. And I said at the time that it was a banner plane, and here we go. Scott has also said the same a couple of days later. With spheres circling it, seen hovering over Baltimore is just an advertising banner towed by an airplane. Previous case. Now he's got a close-up of it. Pretty boring really, but it made the newspapers. Right, so they managed to find the little dot, which I didn't see last time. But I did actually circle that little blobby bit, didn't I? I said it would be about there. So they found the same blobby bit I have, which is the plane, towing the banner. It's quite funny how you get two independent debunkers coming up with exactly the same thing. So I think that's proof in itself, right? I told you it'd only be a few pixels, and because it's so out of focus, you're not going to see the plane. It's just going to be a blob. So yeah, so that's verification of the last one I did. I don't think anyone had any doubt that it was about a plane though. But obviously, English tabloids, they're just like putting up junk. It makes the UFO field a laughing stock, basically. And of course, we got Secureteam doing that. So, was there anything else on this one on their video that we need to talk about? Gigapan. So that's where it was originally from, huh? It's a shame we can't scroll back and see the rocks on this one way down here of the image. It was just over here, the other white rocks, remember? It was over this on the bigger picture. And you can do a comparison then. But anyway, that's enough for that one, I guess. So they've probably got a few views on that one, 37,000. I suppose if a secure team puts it up, they'll probably get about 500,000. I see they put up something else last night, which I haven't had a look at. So it looks like we got that, what's it called? Fata manga, where it's, what's it called? That's not manga, manga? Or what's that one where you get the mirage? Where it looks like it's floating above the horizon. I have a quick look. This is the first time looking at it.
Some kind of unusual display of lights. We're just going to let it play raw for just a little bit.
Come on guys, keep your camera still. Is that the one on Secureteam that I'm going to talk about later? Looks different. Looks like a whole bunch of lead balloons to me, or seagulls or something.
That looks like it's going down. Hey Karen, come check this out. Look.
Can't see much there at all. Is it birds being illuminated by city lights below?
Right here, it's in front of you. I'm not going crazy.
Well, there's a lot of lights here.
I have no idea. Look how
Drones?
It was in a giant ball, and there were multiple of them, and then they started spreading apart right now, and then they're doing this right now.
Birds, drones. Oh, hang on.
That does not look normal.
Alright, looks like skydivers, huh? Like we got skydivers.
I just want a witness to see it, because I don't want to.
You know what it is? So we're going to say a mix of drones with LEDs and skydivers. Must be the Golden Knights are going, eh? What's the other crowd that does it? Fast Tracks? They do it for football stadiums. Not UFOs, Rene. You can see they're going down. They've got the towels on it.
There's a bunch of them. 2 of them went that way, but I don't see where they went. And then the rest all went together, and they're doing this now.
Well, you can see they're getting lower and lower down now.
Trust me, I got it.
So, is that what we're looking at?
The stuff that's floating down, dropping, I don't know what that is. I cannot explain that.
Skydivers with lights on. Okay, so that's not too interesting.
to us. I just want you guys to take a look at it. Here it is.
So there's the flares that you're getting as they're coming down on parachutes. You can't see them though. Of course, they wear the LED suits now too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 skydivers. That sounds about right for Golden Knights, I think. And these other ones, probably drones behind them. Alright, so what do we got now? Oh, here we go. We've talked about this so many times, guys. Why is it on your channel? Are you going to tell us the truth? No, they're not. So that's what you call atmospheric inversion, where it always floats. It looks like it's floating above a certain distance above the horizon on the sea level. Because the light, again, is bending, refracting through the sky as it gets into the camera lens or your eye, and it looks like it's floating when it's actually on the sea. So what is it actually meant to be this time? Island, maybe? A ship? Looks like an island with a building on it. What is it? Looks like a chunk of rock sticking out of the sea with maybe a lighthouse on it and a water tank, maybe at the very top. Probably someone living on it. Pretty cool, those ones. What's it called? Fata Monga, or whatever it's called. Fata Mongaya. How'd you say that word? That's the one? Mirage. How'd you say it? Can't remember. Fata Morgana. Is that a Spanish word or something?
Fata Morgana.
Fata Morgana. Seen from the coast. Oh, here we go. That looks like it could be the same location. There we go. Oh, that's the top of a ship that we're looking at there. And the front of the ship. The rest of the tank is behind. As you know, the planet is a globe and it curves. So we can't see the rest of the ship because it's below horizon level. And so we're getting the light that it's being reflected from the bit we can see, and it's being inverted even there. Well, so it looks like it's a double image. So it's a mirage as well as a mirror effect. And coast of Queensland there. But we've looked at all those before, and there's quite a few of them. That's another one. What are we looking at there? Oh, it's too far. What are we looking at? A piece of land out to sea. And it's reflected, mirrored, as well as see the original island on this out the coast there. Double island. So it only goes out a certain level from the sea because of the dense atmospherics near the sea level here, full of moisture and ice crystals of salt. But you won't see it way up here. So it's a telltale sign that it's a mirage. Get the same thing in deserts. So what are we looking at there? That looks crazy. But anyway, I don't think they're going to tell us the truth here, but we'll have a listen. How's it going there, mate? I didn't see you. Hogweed. So, are you the ones trying to discredit Tyler? Oh no, we got a troll. Don't bother only makes you look bad, does it? Makes him look bad because he's actually the one that's creating the fake videos, mate. He is the best for good reason. Best. Okay, so best at what? Hoaxing videos? Because he certainly is pretty good. He's good at lying. And if you bother watching my leaker videos on him, which you can find on my channel simply just by searching the playlists here. I don't have to discredit them, I just have to show you the evidence, mate. Now, if Tyler was really being discredited, he would be taking everybody to court. And I'm not the only person that's pointed this out over the years. I just found some more and reversed them. There you go. Play it for you. A whole playlist here. Smoking gun. Where he fakes the voices. But that's not the first one. This is two of them. Mr. Ken one, he's admitted to doing. He admitted it to a newspaper called express.co.uk. Go and do your research if you think I'm discrediting him. He's discredited himself. He started this channel just to make money, and here's his first video here that he did with the fake interview from Area 51, a Bob Lazar type person.
$1,000 a month. Leakers.
And you can go and search online. You can search online like I did, and you can find the sources out there. And you can download it and reverse it in the same software which I show you online. And you can see it's clearly Tyler. And stop being a nuts. Come on, mate. Every video that he put up is disinformation. And I've debunked everyone. If you go and have a watch all my channel, you'll have every video that he's ever done. I've debunked them all. Come on, idiots. Bloody idiots out there. Don't know why you're defending him. How much is he paying you? Are you one of these paid trolls? He's part of his army or something, is it?
From 10.
Or whoever happens to hear this know the truth.
You can even tell it's him.
With regards to the alien presence,
just by the words he
in
uses
our world, as well as
and his accent,
interstellar space, and within our own solar system. I myself am a worker in one of the underground.
Now we place it into audio software and reverse the pitch. I found 2.9 seemed to work on this program, and you can hear the results now.
The date is June 29th, 2008.
Fraud.
6:32 p.m. I'm creating this message to let the people of the world, or whoever happens to hear this, know the truth about what is going on with regards to the alien presence.
Pretending to be a Bob Lazar. He's a screwbag, and he did that. I debunked that years ago. Still, people don't listen. So once someone fakes a whistleblower, how can you trust that person not faking other stuff? He claims he got these in email as well, secure email. It's just BS, mate. Don't be suckered in. You're wasting your time watching and you're not going to get any truth from him.
Blah blah blah. But this.
Anyway, just close that one down. Go and watch the truth about Tyler. Go and watch them all. I debunk all his videos. Not just the leaker ones. Even today's one. Our last one he just did. I'll debunk it as well. That's what I'm going to do today. But since we're going off on a tangent, I will maybe jump to him next. So I don't know if there's anything else on third phase here, but that was a quick one we had a quick look at there, and you can see again, clearly not alien craft, and it's misleading, and they're only just putting it up there to get clicks, right? So they don't get many views here, but they still make money off it. They started way before Tyler did, and in the early days, Google paid pretty well for clicks as well as views on the videos, and people could easily make $100 per 1,000 views back in the older days. I mean, $100 per 1,000 views. Now it's only like 1 cent every view, and so the more you get, obviously the more money you get. So, and more ads you put into it as well, increases the value. So, Secureteam, every video of this can be debunked as well, which it keeps repeating the same garbage on it. So we got lightning, this one here.
A capture of something.
So he's talking about these lights here, where the lightning happens, it corrupts, puts an EMF spike through the video. But if you notice, the guys are whispering each other on the phone. You can hear them whispering each other, like they're up to no good. Lions Ground was a fraud as well. He took money from Secureteam. Come on. Why do you think he left? Tyler called him out. Said, why are you making these debunks on me when I helped you out? And after that, Lions Ground disappeared, right? And he also admitted that Tyler was donating to him on Patreon like he didn't know. So how did he find out, you know? So yeah, there's debunkers out there that what I call players, so not actually real ufology people. They're also out to make money. Now, I don't make any money. I ain't got any ads on mine, have I? So how can I make any money? So I keep on doing this. I knocked this out for 3 years now. I gain nothing from it apart from the idea of getting truth about the real UFO stuff. All this stuff is just noise, not UFOs. And if you watch this video clip he put up, it's just nonsense. And you notice that the objects, when lightning happens, get brighter. So what's that tell you? You know, if you start to think about cameras.
Lights in the sky on a clear bridge during a.
Let's just play some of it here. We'll slow it down a wee bit. But you can hear the guys whispering to each other here, which is very suspicious. I'm trying to make out what they're saying. But you notice how the lights show up when the lightning strike happens? But you can't see the lights very well when the lightning's not flashing. And they've changed the angle here, see? See that the lights only showed up when the lightning happened. So there's a clue. See that? And they go out as soon as the lightning goes away. It's very hard to get it, but I have managed to capture some stills of it. Secureteam logo there. So you can see here the shape of these objects here. Looks like it's reflecting off something that's behind them, and it's in a window. So when the lightning flash happens, light then reflects off something behind them, then shows up in the glass or window here. Now, before then, after the lightning goes, you can hardly see it on this image here. So where's the lights? It's not the best way to do it up here, though. Stupid Twitter keeps putting that pop-up, which is kind of stupid. Let's see. And that's me enhancing it, the dark one, to see if I can see the lights. And you can just barely see reflections here. There you go, there. And when the lightning strike happens, they're super bright. There. So, and you can see these lights have moved from over this side to this side. So they've changed their camera angle here. So clearly they're not UFOs, they're not in the sky. Something else going on. And they're whispering, and I can't quite make out what they're saying. So it didn't even show up then of that little flash there.
Seem to like to dwell and
Let's see if I can hear them again. See, the lights are over here with that, it looks like a pole, something sticking up. See how the lights only shine up when the lightning happens? It's got to be a reflection of something. See, they're just whispering. Then they cut into a different angle here, and it's now the other side of the post, which is over here. But anyway, that one's pretty useless, isn't it? So he's talking about all these different objects in the sky when lightning's happening. And clearly you can see it's just a gap in the cloud at night time. You can see how dark it is up the top here. Just little gaps in the cloud, and it kind of looks like a UFO. Sort of thing Mr. MBB33 does, right? In fact, that one looks like it's on a post there. See that? That looks like it's a high mass light there. That one looks like it's a gap in the cloud. You can see how it's going whispery here on the cloud layer. And there you can see another cloud here. Looks a bit more like a UFO shape. So what part of that was he saying was a UFO? That one? You can see a bit close up. You can see that it's just two cloud fronts parting apart there. You can see there's a white fluffy one here. You can see the fluffy edge of this one here. Just stupid. Claiming that's a mothership or whatever. Totally pointless. So if we go back here, is that the one with the light on a mask? Could be. Can't quite see where the pole is.
these things, and I've covered this in many different videos. Now, if you guys remember, there was another sighting thing that was...
Okay, so we're talking about clouds and gaps in clouds again. But this one looks like a transformer blowing up, is it? Could it be on a transformer post there rather than lightning? Looks like a transformer, doesn't it? You know how you got the two dangly bits coming down with the beam in the middle?
In some instances, lightning will strike these things. Here is another...
So what's happened is a lightning bolt's come down. It's hit a power pole here. That's what's happened. So it's forming that U-shaped thing. That's what I'm seeing. I'm not sure about U's down the side there. So if you've got a power pole, let's see if we've got some images of one. Not those ones, but you want the ones with the droopy. There's a transformer that often blows up, right? Lightning comes down, hits that, blows up, and you get a ring that goes up in the atmosphere, and you get this black ring that goes up because these things are round and they've got oil all around and it catches fire, creates a puff of smoke. So where's the ones with the dangly things coming down? Come on, give us one. These ones have little dangly bits coming down. But I don't think it's one of those. See, that looks more like it could be closer to what we're looking for. That one's got two transformers on it. So you got these big insulator things that dangle down from the posts. So if the lightning struck it, it's going to go light it up and then go towards the ground again. But obviously these are going to be on wooden posts, not the metal ones, which would conduct through the metal. The wooden ones are less likely to conduct straight down to the ground. So here's one of the two transformers. So there's your U shape there. So it looks like it hits there in the video to me. A transformer, two transformers, which then the rest of the lightning spike went straight down to the ground.
A photo that was taken, I believe, in Switzerland or Sweden.
So he didn't even bother looking up his past case here. Switzerland or Sweden, can't be both.
Lightning will strike these things. Here.
Lightning strike on a power post, bang, solved. What's that got to do with UFOs? A U-shaped UFO. Rubbish. Total nonsense. How can that be the best channel? You're getting what I'm saying now, guys. None of this is going to help us get the answers of aliens coming down to our planet. The media and government love people like Tyler for putting up this disinformation all the time. So this other one is the other one that gets me too. He's saying it's hitting a triangle craft, but when you have a look at it in detail, you can see it's not a triangle thing at all. It's just that the lightning's sort of come down, gone horizontal a wee bit, and then gone in the other direction, because we're looking at in 2D, a 3D object. And it's sort of bent backwards a wee bit and gone straight down again. So I've found a similar picture to that, with a lightning strike on a wingtip. Here we go here. And you can see here that the lightning can bend all around different directions, and it can form these triangle patterns where it sort of goes back on itself. This one went up, along, and then back down, and then finally hit the wingtip. And that's exactly what's happened here. I've tried to draw it here on graphic editor. The lightning coming down, comes this direction, and then changes its mind and goes that direction a wee bit, and bends back behind itself and then comes back down again. But you've got to imagine it in 3D space rather than 2D picture. And that's the key, you see. So it's not hitting a physical object at all, it's just a normal piece of lightning. So it's just misinformation again. And that sort of thing just annoys me, you know. If he told the truth like I always do, I'll look at something and I'll say, oh well, it's either going to be this and this and this, and if we can narrow it down, and then end up with UFO at the end of it, then we can say we've totally debunked it using all the tools and video analysis and told you the truth. Yeah, and that's what I do when I do the MUFON cases. If this, I probably won't have time today. It's already an hour 40 minutes going on. Lightning is very amazing stuff, as you know. Tesla was fascinated by it, and he's the one that created the lightning machine called the Tesla core. Yeah. No, he doesn't get sent them. He has a guy called Mavi777 and a few other people that go around the web all the time looking for any videos that have been put up and ask permission to use them. That's all he does. He doesn't even read his emails, I doubt. I don't know if anyone actually gets replies from him. Yeah, in the early days before I actually got started my channel, I actually emailed him saying, oh, this looks a bit like this, and I never ever get a reply back. So has anyone actually got replies back from him on email? Because I think the email is just like a junk box, right? Just purge it every so often. What are you saying there, Renee, at the top? Pull it move from one side to the other. Could it be just UFOs? Who took my mojo? So you just put up a new video that I talked about. Helps to shine light on channels with motive. Yep, for money. Well, Tyler was making 100,000 a month US. Of course, he likes putting up other people's videos and talking about them. Yeah, he's made a few $1 million out of the UFO thing. And this very first one was that leaker video. So when someone puts up bullshit to try and con people and he's laughing at you, making those fake leaker ones, he's trying not to laugh half the time when he's on his channel. Because he knows you're all gullible, you know. You know, he's still got, 1,200 patrons paying him for that rubbish? Could it be just a TGE UFOs? Click evasive breakneck speed. Not too sure what you're talking about there, Renee. I just give you my gut opinion on things, you know, and of course I'm not going through like a MUFON case here because these guys don't list all the details. They don't state the dates. They don't state the time, location, which way they're looking. And as you can see here, show more information. It's just links to other YouTube channels. There's not even the real source video from the camera. It's one that's been recompressed. Well, the bitrate's been changed. So it's not even the best quality. So it's more blurry spud cam footage. It's just not going to help the UFO community at all. And now he's got this thing in outer space here. So is it being photographed through a glass panel here where it's getting a lens flare happening? You can see here the photo's been cropped. You can see the sun's illuminating the edge of this Hubble Space Telescope, and it looks to me like it could be a reflection of some light into the glass of the camera, because the camera has a glass sheet across the lens of the sensor. So glass tends to reflect refract light as well as distort it as well, some instances. So does he zoom in on that? So does that look like a UFO? No. He's claiming it as a saucer or something, isn't he? Appears to look like something totally alien. To me, it looks like a reflection off the side of the Hubble telescope. So the question is, how was this picture taken? Is it on a boom arm like this thing coming out here, where they've got another camera attached, so they can get a picture as well as see where the telescope's pointing? I don't know. Let's see. Can we find out? Sounds like Charlie's having a woof. Yeah, Mojo is the one that gave me some footage to look at with the alien grey, right? So if you're not seeing that video, go and check it out. I spent a week doing analysis on that, and I'm still 50-50 with it. With the fata, he did a really good job. And a lot of people put out theories there about lights and stuff, so from cars, which I can't see it fitting. So yeah, go and check it out and see if you think it's legit footage that Mojo's done now. But if it's real footage, you've seen the first alien grey captured on film for sure. Even though it's like a 20-year-old camera you're using there. The thing that I think is credible about Mojo's on that one is that he doesn't actually focus on the alien. He sort of he's focusing on the UFO as a whole, and he moves in, and you can see doesn't zoom in maximum onto the alien in the cockpit, and then he moves away from it. And no one would do that. Everyone would be focusing on the cockpit, trying to get more detail, and he simply pulls away, which is, to me, means that he didn't see it at the time. Which gives them some credibility there, but the only thing that everybody goes on about is that he didn't give the location of it, so we can't actually map the distances and the size of the craft, and that's always been the problem. Was the location was never given, because he claims it's outside, out the back of his house, wasn't it? So yeah, go and check it out. We've talked about Mojo's video for a long time, and we get people coming up with new theories that it's truck lights and whatnot. And I said, well, you got to do it for the whole video, not just a single frame from the video where you think the lights are. So yeah, the debunkers out there are a bit lazy, I find. I spent a lot of time on that, overlaying all the lights to see what the shape of it would be, and it sort of has a classic Mexican hat saucer shape appearing. So, and lights above the cockpit and below the cockpit where the alien appears, and it looks like a 30 to 40 foot saucer. Everybody keeps talking about them being 30 and 40 foot. So you haven't seen Mojo's one, go and check it out. Just do a search there. And no one else was interested, not even James Fox, which is kind of strange. Alien Grey. Other experts could have looked at the source and see if they can see how it was faked. This one here. If they can come up with a positive way how it was faked throughout the whole video, not just a single frame, then I might change my mind on it. But at the moment, without all the other information that Mojo wouldn't give us, there's not much we can do more than what I did here. But here's obviously one picture I enhanced with the thing in the cockpit, and it definitely looks like an alien grey with a small ear, small mouth, and two big eyes. Or it could be a hybrid, maybe even. But people also suggest that it could be a latex mask or a puppet, which is possible. Any video can be faked. Video alone is never going to be proof. So yeah, that was an interesting one to look at, UFO and alien. And I don't think Mojo would give it to Secureteam to analyse, because he wouldn't do like I did on this. He wouldn't do a detailed investigation on it. I don't think he would be able to even do what I do. He wouldn't be able to zoom in, stabilise it, enhance it, put all different filters for it. So yeah, people, different debunkers have got different skill levels. Mine's, if you go and watch my live stream number 2, you'll see all the command tools that I'm using to rip the frames to pings and manually zoomed in and stabilized them and cut them and made it into animated GIFs and all that. Yes. Yeah. Yes, there's a lot of different people in the UFO community, right? So you got the debunkers that don't believe. Then you got people like me, the truthers, that do believe, but also do. Part of the truthing is that you got to be able to debunk and critical think. And we've had Earl Grey on from MUFON, the senior investigator there, and he agrees with all my analysis and debunks as well. But yeah, he had his doubts about this one as well. But and yet I have my doubts about lots of other things he believes in, right? So there's a mix and match going on between debunkers. Some believe in their own analysis and other people's analysis and opinions, blah, blah, blah. So all you can do is do your best. Try and see if you can spot any possible hoaxing happening, or anything that sort of represents a natural phenomenon or a man-made thing. And then you can get to the 1% of cases that are actually real UFOs. And of course, me and Robert have been talking about some of the more popular ones on Saturday nights. So go and watch Robert Talks UFO Cases, because we've done a few good ones there. So better move on. Got a bit to cover still. I need to have a drink though. So yeah, again, if you don't believe Tyler's unreliable source of information, go and do a search about it. Go and type in his full name and put fraud on the end or hoaxer, and go and read what other people are saying. Just don't take my word for it. Go and have a look at other people. I'm not talking about Lion's Ground. I'm talking about he's gone. You won't be able to find any references to anything he's done, because it's all been purged off the net now. That's how easy it is to disappear, right? That's why you got to keep stuff backed up. But you got Scott Brando, and go and see what he says about Secureteam. You got Hoaxeye, go and see what he says about him. You got Mick West, go and ask him what he thinks about him. And so on. Scott Brown is another one. Go and ask Scott Brown what he thinks of Secureteam. You don't have to take my opinion for it. So, where do we get to? This space telescope. So I reckon it's just a reflection, lens flare, off the edge of the thing. And I was going to look at Hubble telescope to external cameras, or external camera, saved Hubble. Wide field camera. So that must be that one there they're talking about. Is it? Or are they talking about the internal? How many cameras on Hubble, maybe? I don't think it's a spaceman out there. We've got some technical blueprint of it here, have we? We've got something. Okay. Does it tell us everything about it though? Well, I'm not seeing the bits that were sticking out that we saw in the photograph on that. Well, it's got the solar panels for charging. What's this thing here? That's the cover for the camera. It shuts, obviously. Why would they do that? Why would they want to cover it? What's the other bit here? It reflects back into the sensors at the back of it. Can't see any cameras mentioned on that. On the outside. Why is it not going? So here, I've got a picture. Little antenna transmitter, that wasn't on that diagram. It looks like solar panels each side. So where's that camera? We're looking at the wrong side of it here. So this is the other side of it, is it? Oh, here we go, what's that one? Oh, we got two antennas side by side. But yeah, where's the camera on it? So how was that image made? That's a good question. Looks like it's on the solar arm though, doesn't it? Where's the solar arms here? No, just the little camera coming, the little antenna coming down here. So this looks like a robotic arm coming up there. So this has got to be on an astronaut out in space doing some fixes on it. Didn't they, was that back in the time when they were makeshifting the lens on the front, trying to put an artificial lens to correct the error? It's a robot arm from the space shuttle there, isn't it? So this is being filmed from the space shuttle. Must be an old picture. So, so the Hubble doesn't have an external camera on it, obviously. Space shuttle fixes Hubble. Let's see. Here we go. Looks like the robot arms down there. Here we go. What's that one? Spaceman. Satellites. Here we go. Is that it? First spacewalk to fix Hubble. So it's got to be back in those days. What year was that? It must be a few years ago now. 2009. So there must be some more images out there. That being one of them. This very lens flare off the back of this here, of the sun hitting it back at the camera, it's reflecting back at the camera. Just nonsense again. So this is the best Secureteam can come up with. You can almost see the shape of what it's reflecting off here. See, there's a square panel here, and it looks like a square panel with a round bit in the middle here that's very shiny, where the sun's reflecting off it. And that's the rest of the outside of this, of the what do you call it, Hubble. And there's another panel here, square bit, with a shiny bit in the middle here that's reflecting the sun off it. Pareidolia, right? And of course this image here of what he's got a clickbait title, which is what he always does, alien-like thing discovered. Total clickbait. Of what's obviously a squid egg. A big egg. That's quite a big squid if it is. Now let's see. Let's just do a quick search on squid eggs. There's a tubey thing here. There we go, what's that one? Oh yeah, it's quite big. Diver compared to the size of it. Looks like the same sort of thing. The thing is, a lot of amazing things in our sea that we don't know about. Still to this day. So not point wasting time on that anymore. So that's Secureteam to bunk with anyway. And of course you can go to my Twitter page and see these images and save them if you want to. Free of charge, of course. Close tab there. And so where did we get to? Right, onto this one, which is a bit more interesting. I need to have a drink though. Cool, I hope you get to see one later out there. So what these guys up to on the side. Yes, I believe if you see the real thing, especially if you see it alien grey, it changes your life. I had a crazy dream that I talk about in a live a couple months back now, isn't it? Which to me felt more like it was real than a dream. Especially because I had a lot of pain with it, which is kind of strange. You shouldn't get pain in a dream like that. And you normally would wake up if you're in pain, right? But instead I passed out, which is kind of strange. So maybe already, like Il Grace said, that if you look more into the phenomenon and you associate with the right people, that you might get a visit yourself. And maybe that's what's happened. And until it happens again, I can't be sure. It's the thing that you got to get wrapped around your head, right? You got to get evidence. Yep. Thanks, AJ. Well, you know, I could have said that you're a hoaxer like everybody else, but I gave you the benefit of the doubt, didn't I? So, and I looked at it fairly and gave my best analysis I could do on it. And yeah, I think I did a pretty good job on it, especially with the stabilizing and deforming the head, because as you moved, the head got squashed outwards. So they had to reshape it back into what it should look like. But yeah, because it was interlacing, it was corrupting the image every time you moved it. And that's the problem with interlacing. If the computer chip inside the camera can't process it fast enough, and you're talking about 20-year-old technology back then, and the handycam, it's going to get black lines and missing data, you know, as you move slightly, especially if you're zoomed in. The cameras are only getting better, so just keep that in mind. Okay, just get a sip of a drink. So we're going back to this one again because remote viewing has come up, talking about the cigar-shaped rock that come into our solar system and bird of prey. Now, what they mean by the bird of prey is they're talking about the one with the SpaceX video, where it passes in front. Let's see if I've got a picture of it. No, I haven't got a picture there. I think Mick West had, not Mick West, Scott has. This one here of the famous clip of something passing by here. So they're calling that a bird of prey, this thing that's moving in the distance. So I'll get to that in a minute, but we'll play the video. I think it's a trailer. Yeah, trailer. Just speed it up a wee bit. And I won't play it all, I'll just play a clip. Let's see, just after the music.
Events that have the potential to be among the most stunning two objects and the bird of prey. Two objects and events that have the potential to be among the most stunning extraterrestrial phenomena to enter the conscious thinking of humankind in a very long while, perhaps since the now legendary Roswell UFO crash in 1947. These two extraterrestrial objects and events are very recent. They are not something that happened in the distant past that we can now wonder about. They are current, right now, out there. And they have huge implications for how humanity thinks about it, based on how it reflects light, outgassing. But again, that is not happening. Now, some very respected scientists have speculated that it may be an extraterrestrial technological object, like a solar sail or light sail, that is accelerating because of the way the light from the sun is hitting or pushing it. Finally, radio transmissions from the object are very weak, less than the amount transmitted by a cell phone. So if it is a tech object, it is pretty much dead.
So a better look at the long structure. I'm getting this type of angle and shape of the structure.
So I'm not too 100% sure on remote viewing here, because Stats always said they're like, they're not better than 50% odds, right? So yeah, let's guess. But I'm not sure how they can call out of thin air the shape of what's on a photograph or something. So something definitely going on, but I wouldn't class it as highly accurate. All the details that they give. So I'll just post a link to it here, the remote viewing trailer. So obviously I'm not sure if they're going to make this one free. They do make some free, and other ones you have to pay to get remote. But this just proves to me how wrong it can go, because I'll go over it.
Quite long, inferior and irregular square top, but it's still curved. I get a still curved.
I don't even want to give it a roof. I mean, this is like such a massive gaping puncture into the side of what looks like to be a huge structure. And it seems like the outside feels like it's space or something like that. So I'll put all these little possibly SARS.
They're subjects. They kind of have a feeling of elders in a sense here, but they're kind of slouched over. I'm not understanding their posture. They're rather empty. It feels kind of like are they dead?
This new project, conducted at the Farsight Institute, employs 3 remote viewers who are among the most experienced and highly trained viewers existing today: Aziz Brown, Melina Hall, and Princess Janae. The remote viewers all describe the same thing.
So when she was drawing that rock, she was saying it had like a top bit on it. Well, if you look at the original rendered graphic from radar, because they didn't actually get a photograph of the rock when it came into the solar system, but it's based on bouncing back radio signals, radar map basically, and they said it was a long shaped, irregular shaped object. So what she was drawing on there looked more like a UFO than a cigar UFO, if you know what I mean.
3 totally corroborating reports. Moreover, all of the remote viewing
to the damage, and before the damage. After the damage, before the damage.
So now I'm going to go back to the time.
So they're saying it's got
where
people
it was
inside it.
active use.
So they're saying it's got structures and stuff inside this rock. Which is possible, we can't discount it because we don't know. Because we didn't get enough information about it. But it certainly doesn't look how she's drawing it there. But you know, you can see how close it does look, you know. It's quite clever how they can pick up stuff. Which I found some of them quite interesting. The Hitler one and the a Russian one with the what was that thing again? Dayloff Pass incident. So that was quite interesting too. And I think they probably nailed it on the head. The people were standing there looking at something in the sky. So unless they're cheating, of course, they might be being fed some information. So we don't know 100% because we're not there investigating it.
Area and just all this stuff just...
But the very middle and the very back of the structure looks like a prison.
But what of our second element in this current investigation? What is this bird of prey? Well, on December 8th, 2018, an object was quite clearly caught on camera while passing behind the SpaceX Dragon spacecraft as the Dragon spacecraft was approaching the International Space Station in order to deliver supplies. And quite honestly, this unexpected object really does sort of look like a bird of prey spacecraft from the Star Trek science fiction series. Here is the footage that was taken from the International Space Station as the SpaceX Dragon spacecraft was approaching the space station. Look closely as the object passes behind the Dragon spacecraft and is illuminated by lights.
Okay, so they're playing some music, so we're just so this is obviously a brightened version to the original, because if you look at this one, it doesn't look as bright to me anyway. Where is it? Where's the videos playing? Yeah. Let's see. Can't quite see it. Doesn't look as bright, but then again it's not zoomed as much as well. But UFO interest has overlaid the angle of how it was filmed and the how close the planet was to the orbit level here. You can see here it's very cloudy on this particular shot here, and you can see if there was city lights below, a lot of it would be blocked off, as basically what they're claiming is city lights going past. And you got to remember that the spaceship as well as the space station are flying at something like 17,000 miles per hour. I'd have to check up that information in orbit. It's hard to believe they're moving that fast in orbit, but yeah, nighttime, city lights breaking through some clouds passing by, and they're calling it the bird of prey, of course.
Thing to do with. The questions are, what is it, what is inside it, and what is it doing there?
I have this one object. It's like gray or silver, and it's also shaped like a cross.
See, to me, that sounds like she's talking about the space
And I have
space
other objects
station.
around it. Here's an image of the cross-shaped object that's metallic and gray and silver. Has like a whiteness to it as well.
Zoom over here and goes like stops right there. So I'm gonna erase this really quickly. Object 3 pushes itself like really fast and just sort of breaks itself right here. A very, very quick movement.
The rectangular shape has mixed elements and shapes to it. The third one is, that I'm seeing over here is the TP structure that's bigger. It's bigger than it looks. Like visually looking at it, it kind of just has a pyramid. Like you just popped open a tent or TP and you can sit in it. But like the closer.
Yeah, so she's talking about SpaceX Dragon capsule there. It looks like a TP, she said. Well, I suppose it sort of does. So if they're picking it up through just out of thin air, It's pretty amazing, really. But the thing is, they're also talking about cross-shaped thing, which is obviously the space station there. So to me, they might not be picking up what the lights are, but they might be picking up what's in orbit, right? So this is where remote viewing can go wrong. Maybe it's not directed enough, you know, maybe it's the way the experiment was done.
That I get to it, it's really large shapes like a triangle. It's very complicated to see inside. Inside I'm having...
So here I'm getting a lot of structures all together. Seems like a battle, but it's not a battle. But I'm getting a lot of beams, like laser beams. A lot of things are just shooting at each other. One structure is trying to get to the cross-shaped structure. This Y structure is trying to move around. There seems to be a lot of chaos, but it's not necessarily a fight. But then again, it's a lot of things being... A lot of lights, lots of lights, and
that one's totally wrong. There wasn't any laser beams happening, even if it was a alien craft passing past, like they're claiming. So is she maybe looking in the future or in the past? So this is where remote viewing is a wee bit wishy-washy.
Things are just being like shooting at. It's a lot of things being pointed at and lasers, but there's no big destruction at all.
But first, let's talk about humanity's big problem. The big problem that we are trying to address every time we do any remote viewing work here at Farsight. Humanity suffers from what we might call collective anosognosia. Anosognosia is a term normally used to describe a patient's inability to perceive and accept a medical condition, including various forms of psychosis. This happens despite overwhelming evidence of the condition. It is not simply the denial of facts or stubbornness. The patient has deep reasons for not being able to see and accept his or her reality. In collective anosognosia, a large portion of a population seems to deny an objectively obvious reality, and no matter what evidence is shown to the public, most of the population either ignores the evidence or does not draw any conclusions from the evidence. Moreover, the major news outlets heavily participate in collective anosognosia. They typically offer skeptical interpretations of virtually all physical evidence of anomalous phenomena, and they walk away from obvious conclusions that require a major shift in thinking. Again, this is...
So he's doing like a disclaimer there, saying that he doesn't believe media have the best intentions, but you've got to remember these guys did... they're responsible for the Heaven Gate thing that happened. They had a couple of remote viewers that phoned in Art Bell, and the Heaven Gate cult were listening in all the time about a UFO falling behind the Comet Tower, and it never happened. So they killed themselves just as it was passing. So they actually believed that they'd be the souls would be ascending into the alien vehicle or whatever. Kind of crazy, but that's what happened. So have a look at Heaven's Gate and Art Bell. I think Art Bell dropped this guy like a hotcake after that. I don't think he did any more remote viewing after that because it was really bad publicity. But going back to my analysis of that video, so we're seeing what Scott's saying and how it overlays. So he's saying there's some city lights that appear here that we see going past. But what's happened is the Earth and the SpaceX craft here are almost orbiting in the same direction, left to right. But on the outside, it's like when you swing a thing around on the hand. This is spinning around the Earth a lot faster. So even though the Earth is going in the same direction, because this is going fast, it looks like it's going backwards. Right, you're overtaking it basically in orbit. And I did try to draw a drawing of it further up here, which I've talked about in the past. So here's a picture here in the corner I put of half the planet in daytime and the other half in nighttime, and you can see the flight path of the space station. So it sort of goes around like a corkscrew back and forth around the planet here, and it goes around. Did I put some stats here at all? Every 90 minutes, orbits the Earth every 90 minutes. Orbital incline 51 degrees, so it's not quite in the center. West to east, which is left to right, and the sun's over this side here. So the sun's over here, so looking at this with the city lights here, so the IS is going this direction, which I haven't got quite right here, but it's more going over this direction here. And so it's overtaken the city lights here on the angle. Looks like it's passing it by the spaceship here. It seems to go soon past. And of course, it's not to scale or anything like that. It's just like a idea to show you how it works. So the Earth is spinning that way, and this is spinning faster around this way. So obviously it's going to overtake the city lights peeking through the cloud layer as it goes through here. The camera's looking this way, and the sun's over here, and it's making daytime this side of the planet off Earth, like the picture here, which has got some light going this direction here, which illuminates the end of the spacecraft as it's going past that direction here. Does that make sense? So if you look at the original thing again, you can see here the sun's catching the tail end of the Dragon SpaceX here on this side here, and the city lights pass by here because this is zooming around. So definitely not an alien spaceship anyway, because we looked at it in some filters as well, and we couldn't see any definite hard shape to it. And so that's in live. If you go back to live 79 in the list, that's when we first look at it, and you can see there was various pictures of what the Earth looks like with the nighttime lights. Earth from space, nighttime. You can see it looks very similar, dull lights. There you go, same colour lights. Yellows and reds, but if you imagine it more overcast in these pictures here, like that one there, really, there's the ships passing by with the International Space Station. So you have to get the right angle, so it's probably something like that. City lights there below. But if you block off most of it with cloud cover, there's your Dragon. There's your what they call it, bird of prey Star Trek craft coming through, right? So yeah, that one's sort of come up again with that remote viewing, so I thought I'd better recover it again. You can see how bright some of it gets. And there's a lot of pictures from space, that's for sure. But none with overcast for some strange reason. So here's that cigar-shaped rock that we're talking about in the first part of that remote viewing. Uma, or if it's called. And you can see it doesn't seem to have a bit that she was talking about. But I can see maybe that bit there could be. But then again, this is an artist's impression of the radar data. It may not even look like that. So yeah, until that comes back in and they're ready to snap it, because it came in so fast and went back out so fast, there's no way they could get a satellite with a normal optics to even focus on it, track it. So they're putting up a new 8 billion telescope, the replacement for Hubble in space. soon. And hopefully maybe they're about to get some even better images, and if something like that, they reckon these might be common and we're just not detecting them all, so maybe they'll catch even more of these rocks coming into our solar system. You got to remember that we're spinning around on a spiral arm in the galaxy at 500,000 kilometers per second, I think it is, and so we're going through space at a hell of a speed, and all sorts of things could be flying through our solar system. And it might be that when the dinosaurs got wiped out, we were on a different area in space millions of years ago, 300 million, whatever it was. So maybe if we spin around again on that spiral arm and come back to where the dinosaurs are extinct, maybe there's going to be some more big rocks coming towards us. So you never know what the future holds. So for man to survive, we need to get out into space and get onto other planets and other solar systems. We need to get out of our solar system, because that's the only way humans' DNA is going to survive. And just being on one single planet just takes one big disaster. The sun explodes or whatever, and humans are wiped out for good. So yeah, night time with cloud cover. You think there would be one here with cloud cover? Here's one, sort of. So if it's going past Perth, I mean, what's that side? Not Perth. New South Wales. Then that's probably what you'd see, is it's sort of going around that direction, and that's gone past with the lights. Looks like a UFO that's gone past. Anyway, enough on that one. So go and check out his other stuff. I keep bringing these guys up because there are interesting remote views they do, and it's good to see what they think, even though you can take it with a grain of salt. I like to see a real test done with their people. Like, someone should pick up a random case that they know, like a serial killer, right, or something like that, or some disaster that we knew that happened, what caused it and all that, and then see how well these people do it, and then that sort of gives us a baseline to compare. But we've never seen that happen on this channel, which is a bit of a shame, because if they really are meant to be taking it seriously, then they should really have some sort of test set up to prove each of their remote viewers how good they are. Now, there was a show that I talked about recently called what was it now? Was it In Search Of? New season? I don't think it was that. But they did a remote viewer. I know it wasn't In Search Of. It was the other show, the new show. Where the guy did in Psychic Spies. The Motov incident. And he did a TV series. What was it called now? Strange World, not 2019 or something like that. 8-part episodes. So if you haven't seen it, go and dig it up. It's well worth having a watch. But anyway, he did one where he goes and sees this psychic spy, and he has 10 photographs in envelopes, and he says pick one at random, and he remote views it, and blow me, he gets what's in the photograph. It's quite amazing. So, unless they cheated, again, we don't know, but I'm pretty sure that the film crew were testing him out to see if he was BSing or not. So, yeah, go and check out the episode. I think it might have been number, let's see, 2, maybe? Episode 2? Or episode 7, I can't quite remember now. But it's on the live that I talked about anyway, a couple of Sundays back. So yeah, they've got a lot on here now. go check out their channel. You got the link on the side. They got a lot of free stuff you can watch, and they also got big full documentaries as well. It looks like there's a few that I haven't even bothered looking at. They got Martin Luther King here. And they got some religious ones. They got the Russian fireball. A lot of these are trailers though, to the ones that you have to buy. Unfortunately. Area 51, I haven't seen that one, but that would be really good to see that one. What else did they do? Roswell as well, the Roswell crash, they did that one, so I haven't seen that one. But you have to pay to see those ones, and I don't take it that seriously that I'm going to pay to watch it. They should make it free. And see if anything that sort of makes sense, if they remote view something like that, S4 and all that sort of stuff. Hey John, how's it going? So many UFOs, so little time. Yes. How am I doing for time? 2.5 hours already. So let's carry on, I guess. I've done with that one. Yeah, we sort of got trolled there, John. Now, John, meet, what's his name? Hogweed. He was defending Secureteam, saying he was the best UFO channel. Yeah, it's been going alright. I don't think there's been any technical problems. No one said if my voice is crackling or anything. Yeah, so we sort of flipped in the middle there on Secureteam a wee bit to recap some of his leaker stuff again. And we looked at his latest video, and I think I debunked it all pretty much. So yeah, if you haven't seen that part, go back and watch it. But yeah, John used to be like a hardcore Secureteam fan until he saw my channel and stuff I do. So if John can change, I'm pretty sure Hogweed, you can listen to John, what he has to tell you about Tyler. So yeah, this thing coming out here, I think it's fake clickbait that newspapers are putting out. This flying saucer. I thought, kind of looks like a Tic Tac. Very interesting. And of course it's put out by Fox News here. And I thought, uh-oh, mainstream media just copy and pasting again and putting out rubbish. China builds 400-mile-per-hour flying saucer attack helicopter with stealth-coated and missile system. But when they have a look at that picture there, though, it kind of looks like it goes underwater too. But it looks to me like it's a fake, because it's actually on some blocks here, right? It's not even got... How does it lift off? There's the place where the person sits in, but where's the helicopter blades and all that? So I reckon it's just a fake thing. So if you go through the article here, it talks about it. Let's say it's an experimental attack helicopter. The great white shark has landed with the arsenal of high-tech weaponry and could take to the skies as early as next year. I call BS on that. Pictures of the UFO light craft with an unusual center cockpit first began to circulate online last week after it featured at an air show at Beijing. State-run Chinese paper, propaganda probably. Global Times later confirmed that the contraption was a new type of experimental helicopter known as the Great White Shark. The craft can be coated with stealth materials and loaded with missiles, making a potential lethal weapon. The Super Great White Shark is a high-speed helicopter. designed for future digitized warfare. So what's that mean? Straight away, that sounds like it's CGI, doesn't it? Not a real thing. Digitized warfare. It sounds like it's for like a promo for a 3D Chinese written game or something. Attracted by the future design of the aircraft, Chinese military observers pointed out that the aircraft's high speed and stealth capabilities could give the weapon an edge on the battlefield. So is it mixing reality with virtual reality here? But it had me wondering if it turns out to be real. Where is it again? If that turns out to be real, and could it explain what was happening at Tic Tac back in 2004? Maybe they've been mucking around with this for the last 20 years, and could they had one that was white and not using stealth coating back then, come out the sea, flew upwards, or if it's a similar craft to this one. So I thought I'd put it up there just to have your thoughts on that one anyway. So what used to there? Tyler is an enormous liar. He is. He's good at lying too, isn't he? Some people can do that. Criminals in the jail system can lie to your face. The serial killers are good at it. Ted Bundy, whatever his name was. And what's that Iceman one? He was a good liar too. And then you had that clown, the crazy clown, serial killer clown. Some people can lie, and they can come across as really believable. They generally end up being government, prime ministers, and people like that, don't they? Yeah, you always got to question everything, and also do background checks on people. People can do a background check on me, and they'll never find much, apart from what I do online, you know. So yeah, you should be able to find lots of references to my videos and presentations. But looks like we've got some people disappeared now. One watching, what happened? Didn't they like the Chinese thing? But yeah, having a read of the comments down the bottom here. I think there might be a few more now. You sure those plans weren't stolen from Area 51? The Chinese government are like the 50-something guy who drives a new car. Yeah. That is fake news. That's what I'm saying too. Chinese does not need truth as long as they have face. Made in China. Yeah, probably self-destruct after 2 minutes in the sky. Right, it looks like one, but it's grounded. Does it fly? Yeah, good question, mate. How does it fly? Is it a jet engine? Can't see it working myself. Good grief. Charlie Brown. What else we got? This comment sums it up. The super great white shark is a high speed helicopter designed for future digitized warfare. Global times wrote. Digitized in this case means computer game. That's a good question. I don't know what it means. It must mean that. From Popular Mechanics, a helicopter will run into what's known as flow separation boundary, where it can no longer compensate for its unique unequal lift. But I don't see any blades on it. Blades of the helicopter facing into and then away from the wind as they rotate. That point comes at around 400 kilometers per hour. With counter-rotating rotors, sometimes helicopters can go faster. bullshit. Someone said there. So yeah, I'll post the link here to it if you want to click on the link that goes to China Global News or whatever it is. Tic Tac, China, Tic Tac. Why is it not working? So I've just got a few more bits here. There we go, in for time 240. I just wonder if I got time for it actually. Alright, I already had it open here. Silly me. Oh well, it doesn't matter. Alright, so that brings me to Witness from Another World. How's it going? So we had 44 people drop by, and the average watch time for most people is 13 minutes. So that's your attention span right there, guys. And we only got one watching now. That's probably Rene. He's probably fallen asleep at the keyboard. Who's out there still? I suppose it is getting late there on Sunday now, though. So it's 6 PM and begins 3 hours. It'll be 9 PM in California, and it'll be midnight in New York. So yeah, it's getting a bit late, depending on where you are in America. So yeah, that's a good review on this new movie that's coming out tomorrow, I think it is. Actually, it won't be tomorrow. It'll be America tomorrow, 22nd of October, which will be 23rd if you're in New Zealand. So it still hasn't come out, but it has. So I'll just go over that now. This movie was published in Latino language initially a year ago. So it's floating around there on the web and streaming sites. Well, it used to be, and but it was all in Spanish type Latino language, I suppose, and although you could probably find English subtitles for it. I think it's out on DVD as well. So just click on that to open it up. I study UFOs, and this is the best UFO documentary ever made. So basically it's about a farmer in South America there that hasn't even seen a tractor, let alone a UFO. So he compares the UFO to a tractor, which is kind of strange. So the guy talks about that on the director. But he talks about going inside the craft and seeing them cutting up slabs of meat, which is kind of strange. And then what is that, 3-meter tall alien being in it. So yeah, so we have to wait to see if we can see this this movie for ourselves. This is a review from Vice, and they're liking it so far. Vice, Witness to Another World. I'm not sure why it's called To Another World though. Does he get on board this thing and go to their planet, or is it interdimensional, or what? I'm not too sure what he means by another world. So we'll just read out some of this here, see what they're saying about it. So it comes out in 2 days. What's it? Let me select it. Here we go. So you probably heard this on most podcasts out there. But this just adds something else to it.
I have seen a lot of UFO documentaries, and after a while, they start to get boring. They tend to tell the same old stories, or promote some snake oil selling UFO expert. Perhaps the biggest issue I take with UFO documentaries is that they never focus on what actually matters, the people at the center of the frenzy, and the trauma they experience. By this measure, Alan Stivelman's film Witness of Another World is the best documentary on the subject that I have ever seen. Witness of Another World tells the story of Juan Perez, a lonely gaucho who, as a young boy, allegedly had an encounter with an anomalous aerial vehicle and the strange entities inside. In the 1970s, this incident made headline news in South America and, as the documentary shows, very much ruined Perez's life. The film dives into Perez's life 40 years later. Living alone, Perez is still haunted by his alleged encounter. In the beginning, I proposed to make this film in order to decode the mystery behind the UFO phenomenon, said Stivelman. This mission was overshadowed by the acute sadness that Juan brought with him and the desire to understand why he had to have lived through that supernatural experience that marked him for the rest of his life. UFO documentaries usually make the same mistake. They try to prove that UFOs are real, or that they are alien, or interdimensional, or paranormal, or something else. They all inevitably fail. Stivelman's Witness of Another World is successful because it really isn't about UFOs, but about the people who have alleged encounters with them. Yes, it is a movie about an alleged UFO encounter from 1978, but the UFO is really just a MacGuffin. Perez is the real story here, and the conflicts he has with other people are really what the film is about. Watching Perez break down on camera is one of the film's most powerful moments. It is jarring and painful, a close-up shot of his face, lined with wrinkles that don't seem to match his boyish bravado in the previous scenes. It was there, as a filmmaker, that I had to make a crucial decision for the rest of the shooting. To continue with the investigation of the UFO phenomenon, to stay only in the phenomenological aspect, or to attend to Juan, to his suffering, and to look for a way to help him, Stivelman said.
Okay, so it goes on a bit. So, that's also another thing I'm going to bring up here. The film is distributed by 1091 Media, formerly The Orchard, who have put out the Australians, or whatever it's called. What else did they do? Some other UFO documentaries anyway, but it's been an article on that too. Next one here. Remember, I didn't like them because they went on Secureteam to try and promote stuff. And the guy had a UFO sighting himself, which he didn't submit to MUFON or have it properly investigated, and he went straight to Secureteam to promote it and the other movies. And it looked like it was like flares on kites flying around near the beach or something like that. Surf kites. But yeah, it wasn't really good footage anyway. But apparently he filmed it from a plane as it was coming into land. But yeah, here's an article about it changing hands. First releases under new leadership, so I suppose this movie is a new release, even though it's a year old. And so it's been dubbed into English. And of course, you're not heard that on other podcasts about it being already out there. So if you search the name of it, Witness of Another World. And look at the database for it. First of all, you get their website, promoting it, and here's the actual name of the original title. And now if you click on that, you can see it come out a year ago, December I think it was. It's now got the English title, and the old title's underneath. But you can see it's got a fairly high rate here, 8 out of 10, which is pretty good. But which is strange because it hasn't come out yet. So it must be people commenting on it that's seen the... Is it Argentina that have Spanish? Or Latin, or whatever it is. What's their language there in Argentina? Language of Argentina. Spanish, there you go. So it's in Spanish. Latino. So if there's copies floating around there in the other title, well, good luck if you can find it, because it would have been South America. I don't think they get pirated as much. I'm not sure how much it's going to cost to download it. Probably $20, is it? $10? $5? Rent it? I reckon all UFO stuff should be free though. I don't know what you guys feel about that. To be more believable, it should be free. Even if it's in 360p or something, you know, lower format on YouTube. And they can get it money for people watching it for free through the ad system. But I really think they should put all media on a YouTube type system and just charge more for ads on it. People are going to buy the ads regardless. So even if they have to pay $1 a view of the ad, you know, if you have 1 million people watch it, it's going to cost them $1 million in advertising. You can see straight away that Google's going to be making lots of money out of that, and probably 30%, 20%, or whatever they take off the top, 10%, 100,000, and the rest of it goes to the producers and actors. I think it would be what they need to do. I think it's going to end up like that in the future, and it'll be like solid state chips. It won't be none of this DVD stuff. It'll be solid state chips doing not 4K, but probably 3D surround sound, and it'll probably be like 128K imagery in 3D, and it'll be like photorealistic, and you can sort of plug it into a headset and be inside the movie and stuff. You know, imagine that in Star Wars movie, like you're actually sitting in the fighter pilot and it's all happening around you. It'd be pretty cool. So I reckon it's all going to change anyway. So if you pirate stuff now, it's all going to be, we don't want to watch that, it's boring, we want to see the news method of doing movies. I don't know if there's any more here. Fundamental reason why the film works. Okay, we'll just read it a wee bit more then. If it's not going to let me select it. 22nd of October it's got written there on Amazon.
This film does not attempt to reveal a UFO mystery, but to lead the audience by the hand to walk beside it, to perceive it with their own consciousness, and to draw their own conclusions, Stivelman explained. The fundamental reason as to why the film works is that you don't need to believe any of it. No one can truly confirm Perez's story. What the film portrays is a man clearly hurt by a traumatic event, who is emotionally and socially removed from his peers and family, simply because he knows they can cope. It shines a light into trauma itself. UFOs aside, the audience watches a man search, not for validation, but for healing. It is a very human story. Witness of Another World will be available worldwide on Vimeo and Amazon Prime on October the 22nd.
So there you go, so watch out for it, I guess. But I don't really like ones where you have to read too many subtitles though. So they got the exclusive clip here, I reckon. I'm not sure if I can play it though. Not worth playing it, risk copy claim. But I posted the link down there, haven't I? Yeah, Vice. So you can go and watch the clip after the live stream here. So different change in leadership on that company that's making it.
The Orchard Film Group has officially relaunched as 1091, a new distribution company for independent film and television content creators. The announcement was made by Daniel Stein and Joe Samberg, principals of 1091 Media. Stein will take an active role in the company as executive chairman. The name 1091 comes from the address number of Stein and Samberg's investment firm, which was the Orchard's original investor in 2003.
So there you go. So I'll just post a link to that if you want to read more of that. So it looks to me like that Spanish guy went to South America, filmed the guy's story, then went to these guys to try and market it, alright? So just close that down. We talked about this last time here. I might just talk about this one now. DEFCON. Apparently 2 of the stars have joined up with DEFCON. So you probably could find lots of podcasts and news clips of talking about it now. DEFCON and TTSA. And you're getting these images up on their website. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm not sure what you guys think about it. But apparently they already started pulling information from their website to do with the Army agreement. What's that say there? To the stars of arts and science. Announced today a cooperative research and development agreement, CODBRODA, with the US Army Combat Development Command, which was the DEFCON comes from, to advance TTSA's material and technology and motivations in order to develop enhanced capabilities in ground vehicles. Eh? So yeah. TTSA is seriously the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life. When I explain to people who have no idea what it is, I say that singer guy from Blink 182 is surrounded by a bunch of real scientists, military and intelligent people, which we call spooks. And they are releasing videos of what the Navy says. So I'm not too sure what that is. Reddit. Okay, so various Reddit pages on it. So was there any more to that? How do we get to it? Anyway, I'm sure you'll find more information coming out about it through Twitter, Facebook, Open Minds group, and probably various podcasts. So it'll probably be on Martin Willis Show News and Rojas and Dolan, what's his name? Richard Dolan. Probably be doing something on it, no doubt. And who else? Coast to Coast and all that. So yeah, not sure what it's all about. And what benefit is and what are the non-benefits, because obviously they're not going to be able to put everything that Army knows about UFOs or materials that they're working on out in public. It'll be classified. So yeah, not sure what's going on there. Is it more disinformation? What people are thinking anyway. So we're finished with that one. And that one. Oh, we're almost done. And we got the Concorde. Right. Have I got energy to talk about it today, or leave it for next Sunday? I suppose the Concorde one could be left to go over it. The famous UFO sphere that sort of shows up on video. I could leave that for next time. And who invented the transistor? I could leave that for next time too. See how we go, and we'll probably might be able to add more to it. And add more debunks, and maybe even have a look at some MUFON stuff next time. I was going to open up to anyone that wanted to come on and talk, but I don't think anyone's joined Discord group, because we need to give you the link, or get you on voice chat there, or whatever. So yeah, if you want to come on and talk about any UFO sightings you've had, or give us some pictures to look at with your chat, if you want to come on and talk about it, join our Discord group. The link's in the banner up the top here, that one there, Discord. You don't even have to sign up with an email. You just click it, type in a name, but it will nag you about reserving it so no one else can take that name by registering. But yeah, then you could join into the group there, introduce yourself, talk about how serious UFO person you are, because we don't want no frauds. We don't want people promoting their own channels, which might be a bit suspect, because there's a lot of fraud channels out there. We just want serious people that actually had a sighting, possibly someone that saw something really close. That sort of adds to it all, makes it more believable than you saw something floating in the sky that was reflecting light, which could be a weather balloon or stuff like that you're mistaken. So yeah, once something where someone's seen a silver craft or been abducted, anyone like that wants to go and talk about their experiences, join our Discord group, and we can arrange you to come on next Sunday. We probably can't do it now because I've used up all the time. So yeah, and we might have a look at some of these other videos and images submitted to MUFON. But it'll be a new month soon, won't it? Next, oh no, we still might be okay. And the Concorde one we'll look at, and the transistor, whether it comes from alien crash technology, and see what the truth is about all that. So I'm just going to wind down now, guys, and we'll see you next time. I'm still working on a comedy. So I'll see how that comes out. I just haven't had time to concentrate on it, and I've been really busy with other things. So, but we'll definitely be doing some more interesting cases with Robert on Saturdays, which was noon lunchtime UK time, midnight if you're in New Zealand, 10 PM if you're in Australia. New York City, I think it's about 7 AM. So if anyone's a early person, that'll suit them. And 4 PM if you're a night owl, if you're in California there, if you want to come and join, listen in, and talk on the side at the same time. But yeah, see you then, and take care on the roads, everybody. And just cue the end credits now and say good night. And thanks for joining us. And keep looking upwards.